Joe Biden didn't do it. Joe Biden is blamed for everything. Joe Biden didn't do anything, and it was Joe Biden's fault, and why wasn't Joe Biden? Joe Biden didn't campaign on it. I just want to be clear. If y'all can run me the tape, then run me the tape. But when you campaign and you go out and you make a promise, then we evaluate whether or not you actually meet your promises. So listen, this was rope that y'all decided to hang yourselves with because the president campaigned on the Epstein files while we were campaigning on things such as affordability. We were campaigning on the things that now people are complaining about.
So first off, this congresswoman starts off with this dramatic line about how we care more about dogs' lives than actual lives. But here's the thing, if she actually cared about American lives, she'd acknowledge the obvious. When the border is wide open, when immigration laws are ignored, American lives are on the line. Drugs, crime, human trafficking, real consequences, not talking point fantasies. This is the Prodigy Unfiltered.
Thank you so much. I just love that we care so much more about dogs' lives than we do actual lives, but I'm going to continue on. I want to make sure that I enter this UC, which is one of the reasons that we are a bit skeptical of any immigration, quote unquote, enforcement laws that y'all are trying to pass. This UC is from The Guardian. It says, immigrants with no criminal record now largest group in ICE detention. I listened to Mr. Van Drew.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. I listened to Mr. Van Drew, who I do respect, and he went on and on and on about how this is about the bad guys. And I will be honest with you and tell you that when it came down to the election, there were a lot of people who really believed that the Republicans and the president were all about getting the bad guys out. People truly believed your words, but your actions are not matching up. Because I've got the receipts showing that they are not matching up. And so call us a little paranoid in believing that the hypocrisy may continue to come from across the aisle. Speaking of hypocrisy, I do want to point out, since we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, because we couldn't talk about Epstein before. If y'all recall, we were gone for about 2 months because we couldn't talk about Jeffrey Epstein. And now everybody wants to act as if they want to have like a real honest conversation about the victims and the survivors and everybody else. Where was this conversation a long time ago? And I know that y'all love to go back and say that Joe Biden didn't do it. Joe Biden is blamed for everything. Joe Biden didn't do anything, and it was Joe Biden's fault, and why wasn't Joe Biden? Joe Biden didn't campaign on it. I just want to be clear. If y'all can run me the tape, then run me the tape. But when you campaign and you go out and you make a promise, then we evaluate whether or not you actually meet your promises. So listen, this was rope that y'all decided to hang yourselves with because the president campaigned on the Epstein files while we were campaigning on things such as affordability. We were campaigning on the things that now people are complaining about, right? Because of the tariffs and the fact that you guys won't say anything and tell the president, hey, sir, tariffs are taxes. We as Republicans, we usually don't like taxes. And guess what? That's going to make everything unaffordable. So now he's going to be our big savior, and he is going to reduce the price of foods because he is the guy that actually increased the price of foods. So listen, if you can have this honest conversation about Epstein now, let's just go ahead with this lame duck president and be honest about everything that the American people care about. They care about affordability. They care about the fact that literally people are starving in this country because we have 42 million people, and I don't remember any one of you during that almost 2-month break deciding to go on faux news or any other news outlet and say, you know what, it is wrong to have 42 million people that are relying on $6 a day to eat, and we have the money because somehow our president was able to find under the couch cushion, the one that JD wasn't sitting on, under the couch cushion, he was able to find 40, how much did he find to send to Argentina? 40, there we go, 40 billion to send to Argentina. But those emergency funds, he couldn't find them emergency funds so that Americans could eat. So listen, if y'all are gonna be honest and talk about Epstein right now, let's be honest about everything that is causing y'all to lose real bad. Did y'all see the election results on November 4th? It didn't go very well. So let's just start having honest conversations so that hopefully some of y'all in some of these tight seats, maybe y'all can get reelected and we can just work together.
But no, we get some Guardian article thrown in our faces, trying to claim that IC is just scooping up innocent people with no criminal history. Listen, ICE isn't detaining grandma who overstayed a tourist visa. ICE goes after people who break the law. That's the job. And the left knows that they just want to turn criminal into non-criminal by redefining the word. That's how they play the game. Then she takes a shot at Republicans for supposedly being hypocritical about getting the bad guys out. Really? Because last I checked, it wasn't Republicans fighting immigration enforcement. It wasn't Republicans suing states for enforcing border laws. It wasn't Republicans calling the National Guard racist for protecting the border. The only people blocking the removal of bad guys are the people shouting right now about hypocrisy. But trust me, the best part? She drags Epstein into this as some kind of gotcha. Heard this rant? Where was the conversation? Why didn't Republicans bring up Epstein earlier? Lady, come on. Your own party protected Epstein for decades. Your own donors flew on the plane. You've got folks in Hollywood, tech, finance, all your people, all tied up in that sick mess. And now suddenly you're the champion of victims?
Spare us the act.
And then, here's where I almost choked. She starts lecturing Republicans on affordability. The same party that voted for trillions in spending, tripped inflation into overdrive, and pretends tariffs are evil taxes. Give me a break. Let's make this crystal clear. Tariffs are not taxes on Americans. They're leverage. They're negotiation tools. They're how Trump forced China back to the table and brought manufacturing home. You don't like prices going up? Maybe stop sending our jobs overseas. Maybe stop outsourcing everything. Maybe grow a spine and stand with American workers instead of foreign governments. But no, she wants to blame Trump for food prices, while her own side shut down farms, strangled energy production, and flooded the economy with fake money. That's where inflation came from. Everyone knows it. Then she throws out this dramatic line about 42 million people starving on $6 a day. And look, nobody's dismissing the struggles people face. But why is it that the same people screaming about Americans going hungry are the same ones refusing to secure the border, refusing to stop the flood of billions to foreign countries, and refusing to get America energy independent again? And speaking of money, she says the president magically found $40 billion under some couch cushion to send to Argentina. But here's the truth the left never wants to admit. Foreign aid exploded under Democrats. You want the receipts? Look at every budget they pass. Billions to Ukraine, billions to Iran, billions to every corner of the world. But suddenly they care that America doesn't have money for Americans.
Cut the theater.
And then she tries to take a shot at Republicans for bad election results. Classic projection. The country knows what's happening. People are tired of lawlessness, tired of inflation, tired of endless foreign spending, tired of lectures from politicians who haven't lived a normal American life for decades. Let me tell you something. Honesty isn't the problem. The left's policies are. This clip is the same old formula. Paint Republicans as hypocrites. Pretend Democrats are moral heroes. Ignore facts. Blame Trump for everything. And wrap it all in emotional buzzwords. But the American people aren't falling for it anymore. At the end of the day, this is simple. We need secure borders, affordable energy, strong families, a government that prioritizes Americans first, and leadership that actually loves this country, not lectures us about how terrible we are. And guess who brought that before? Donald J. Trump. And he'll bring it again. This whole speech?
Noise.
America needs a fighter, not a finger pointer. This is Prodigy Unfiltered. Like, share, subscribe, and stay in the fight. God bless America.